We are out here with the US military. And this might look like a normal boat, but it is actually a drone. Meet Port Alpha, America's first shipyard designed not for traditional warships, but for mass-producing autonomous combat vessels. With over $600 million in recent funding and a $4 billion valuation, Saronic is moving at a pace traditional defense contractors can't match. No delays, no bottlenecks, just a rapid pipeline of crewless, agile warships ready to deploy at a moment's notice. The strategy is simple. China has numbers. America is answering with speed. As Beijing launches ship after ship, Port Alpha isn't waiting. It's building the future of naval warfare. And it's doing it now. But can this breakthrough in speed and automation truly counter China's overwhelming numerical advantage at sea? Let's find out. We are also going to resurrect the American shipbuilding industry, including commercial shipbuilding and military shipbuilding. The new arms race, quantity versus quality. For decades, the United States Navy ruled the waves. Its 11 massive aircraft carrier strike groups were the ultimate symbol of military power, able to project force anywhere on the planet. But today that dominance is being challenged not by one rival supercarrier but by a tsunami of steel. The challenge comes from China, and their strategy is brutally simple. Overwhelmed with numbers. While the US focused on building the world's most advanced and most expensive warships, China focused on building the world's biggest navy. Let's look at the numbers. According to the latest Pentagon reports, China's People's Liberation Army Navy or PL is now the largest naval force on Earth by sheer number of ships. They're not just building fishing boats. They're launching powerful modern warships like the Type 055 destroyer. A ship so advanced many experts call it a cruiser. They're expanding their coast guard into a second navy and arming thousands of fishing boats to act as a maritime militia. It's a three-layer chessboard designed to dominate the South China Sea and beyond. The scale is almost hard to grasp. At its peak, China's shipbuilding output was more than 230 times greater than America's. They can build a navy faster than anyone in history. So, what's the American response? How do you win a race when the other side is building ships faster than you can count them? Well, for a long time, the US tried to play the same game, and it ran into big problems. Building a modern US warship is a miracle of engineering, but it's also incredibly slow and expensive. Think about the US Navy's crown jewels, the Ford-class aircraft carriers. They cost over $13 billion each and took nearly a decade to build. The Zumwalt-class destroyer, a technological marvel, was so expensive that its production was cut from 32 ships to just 3. The system is plagued by delays, cost overruns, and bottlenecks. You simply cannot beat China in a straight-up shipbuilding contest. It's like showing up to a gunfight with a single handcrafted gold-plated sniper rifle only to find your opponent has 1,000 reliable mass-produced rifles. So, America had to change the game. If China owns the strategy of quantity, America must double down on its advantage, quality. But not just better technology, a completely new kind of quality. The US Navy's new answer is called Distributed Maritime Operations or DMO. It sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. Instead of putting all your firepower into a few gigantic precious aircraft carriers, you spread it out. You create a worked fleet of hundreds of ships, aircraft, and most importantly, robot vessels. These cheaper autonomous ships become the scouts, the shields, and the skirmishers. They would swarm the enemy, absorbing punches, jamming their systems, and finding their targets. They attrit the enemy, a military term meaning to wear them down. Then, and only then, do you bring in the big expensive manned ships, the aircraft carriers, and guided missile destroyers to deliver the final decisive blow with their crew safe and their missiles reserved for high V-value targets. It's a fundamental shift from a fleet of kings to a fleet of pawns and knights all working together. But to make this strategy work, you need pawns. You need lots of them. And you need them fast and cheap. This is the fundamental problem that sparked a revolution. Navy will be taking a large step into the future of maritime prowess by testing the newest anti-submarine. This is where it all began. This isn't a concept. This isn't an artist's rendering. This is the Sea Hunter. And a few years ago, this sleek, futuristic-looking vessel did something that shocked naval experts around the world. It sailed from San Diego to Hawaii and back again, completely on its own. No crew, no one at the helm, just its robotic brain, sensors, and algorithms navigating thousands of miles of open ocean, avoiding tankers, weathering storms, and obeying maritime traffic rules. Sea Hunter changed the idea of what a ship can be. Built as part of DARPA's ACT-UV program, Sea Hunter is a long, crewless trimaran that can patrol the open ocean for weeks without people on board. It was built to follow and watch diesel-electric submarines, the quiet kind that can hide for a long time, so other armed ships can be sent in to act when a threat appears. DARPA completed the initial demonstrations and handed the program over for further development, showing this was more than a lab toy. The design is striking and practical. Sea Hunter is about 132 feet long, uses a trimaran hull for stability, and has a lightweight composite structure with full load displacement near 145 tons, a top speed around 27 knots, and an endurance measured in tens of days. The ship can cruise for thousands of miles. Its fuel load and hull shape let it cover roughly 10,000 nautical miles on a single fill, enough to travel between distant bases and stay on station for long stretches. What makes Sea Hunter useful is the time on station. A helicopter or plane can visit a patch of ocean for only hours. A manned ship can stay longer but costs a lot in crew, fuel, and maintenance. Sea Hunter can loiter in an area for many days or weeks, quietly watching and recording. That persistence lets it track a submarine until the sub slips up, then calls in strike forces. In tests, it proved it could follow targets and meet navigational rules, a key step toward real operations. Sea Hunter is not a floating gun by itself. Early versions were unarmed and focused on sensing, tracking, and reporting. That is by design. Autonomy and long endurance are the main goals. Still, its sensors, autonomy software, and modular deck mean future versions could carry weapons or specialized gear if policy and law allow. The system runs under A. The ship also shows how cheaper platforms can change naval math. Building and running an unmanned vessel costs far less than a destroyer. Estimates from the program point to operating costs that are a small fraction of manned warships, which could free money for other needs. That cost edge combined with long endurance and modular payloads makes Sea Hunter a powerful tool for routine patrols, submarine hunting, intelligence collection, and logistics support without putting sailors directly in harm's way.